Welcome to our channel, a community of learners.
Have you ever wondered what separates man from beast? It is the fact that we can read and write. Well, this leads us to the importance of books. Books are quite important for our daily lives. A person who does and read books will have no clear direction in front of them. Books open our minds in more ways than one. They teach us what life is all about. They also put us in someone else's shoes and let us see life from their perspective. But the main problem with books is that finding a good book is quite rare these days. So here is a list of the top 10 books you must read. Top 10th. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Pride and Prejudice is a romantic novel of manners written by Jane Austen in 1813. The novel follows the character development of Elizabeth Bennet, the dynamic protagonist of the book who learns about the repercussions of hasty judgments and comes to appreciate the difference between superficial goodness and actual goodness. Its humor lies in its honest depiction of manners, education, marriage, and money during the Regency era in Great Britain. Top 9th. Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Little Women, which was originally published in 2 volumes in 1868 and 1869. The story follows the lives of the 4 March sisters Egg, Jo, Beth, and Amy and details their passage from childhood to womanhood. It is loosely based on the lives of the author and her 3 sisters. Scholars classify it as an autobiographical or semi-autobiographical novel. Top 8th. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. War and Peace is a historical novel. The novel chronicles the French invasion of Russia and the impact of the Napoleonic era on Tsarist society through the stories of 5 Russian aristocratic families. Portions of an earlier version, titled The Year 1805, were serialized in the Russian Messenger from 1865 to 1867, then published in its entirety in 1869. Top 7th. Vanity Fair is an English novel by William Makepeace Thackeray, which follows the lives of Becky Sharp and Amelia Sedley amid their friends and families during and after the Napoleonic Wars. It was first published as a 19-volume monthly serial from 1847 to 1848. Top 6th. Misery is an American psychological horror thriller novel written by Stephen King and first published by Viking Press on June 8, 1987. 1. The novel's narrative is based on the relationship of its 2 main characters, the popular writer Paul Sheldon and the psychotic fan Annie Wilkes. When Paul is seriously injured following a car accident, former nurse Annie brings him to her home, where Paul receives treatment and doses of pain medication. Gradually, Paul realizes that he is a prisoner and is forced to indulge his captor's whims. Top 5th. The Outsiders by S. E. Hinton. The Outsiders first published in 1967. Hinton was 15 when she started writing the novel but did most of the work when she was 16 and a junior in high school. Hinton was 18 when the book was published. The book details the conflict between 2 rival gangs divided by their socioeconomic status, the working-class greasers and the upper-class socks. The story is told in first-person perspective by teenage protagonist Ponyboy Curtis. Top 4th. Crime and Punishment is a novel by the Russian author Fyodor Dostoevsky. It was published during 1866. It is the second of Dostoevsky's full-length novels following his return from 10 years of exile in Siberia. Crime and Punishment is considered the first great novel of his mature period of writing. Crime and Punishment focuses on the mental anguish and moral dilemmas of Rodion Raskolnikov, an impoverished ex-student in St. Petersburg who formulates a plan to kill an unscrupulous pawnbroker for her money. And story moves on. Top 3rd. The Catcher in the Rye is a story by J. D. Salinger, partially published in serial form in 1945-946 and as a novel in 1951. It was originally intended for adults, but is often read by adolescents for its themes of angst and alienation, and as a critique on superficiality in society. The novel's protagonist Holden Caulfield has become an icon for teenage rebellion. The novel also deals with complex issues of innocence, identity, belonging, loss, connection, and depression. Top second. Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, published serialized in 1860 to form 1861. The book is a Bildungsroman, a coming-of-age story. The novel is set in Kent and London in the early to mid-19th century and contains some of Dickens's most celebrated scenes, starting in a graveyard, where the young Pip is accosted by the escaped convict Abel Magwitch. Great Expectations is full of extreme imagery, poverty, prison ships and chains, and fights to the death, and has a colorful cast of characters who have entered popular culture. And as it goes on. Top first. Dracula is an 1897 Gothic horror novel by Irish author Bram Stoker. It introduced the character of Count Dracula and established many conventions of subsequent vampire fantasy. 1. The novel tells the story of Dracula's attempt to move from Transylvania to England so that he may find new blood and spread the undead curse, and of the battle between Dracula and a small group of people led by Professor Abraham Van Helsing.
Do you want more videos like this one? Then join our community of learners right now by clicking the red subscribe button.